Hello and welcome to the Knock On KCLR Sports Weekly Rugby Podcast, where we focus on Kilkenny, Carlow and Tullow Rugby clubs, and we're joined every week by James Blanchfield from Kilkenny, Tom Crotty from Carlow, and of course the man with me now, Paddy Browne from Tullow. Paddy, how's it going?
Hi Stephen, how are things? All good
Not
here?
Too bad. We're kept busy the last couple of weeks between the local stuff and all, and of course the Ireland did a good win over Scotland at the weekend.
Yeah, I was over that. It was a cracker. Yeah, as Ron McGarra said, it felt more like a 40-0 win than the scores that transpired with their late try, and also the number of times we were held up over the line. But look, we did everything we that was required of us, and it was a fantastic performance. And to see the guy with the local connections getting man of the match, Sam Prendergast again, that was fantastic. And I think it was a very good idea to play the two boys together to see how that might work. It was a good experiment. But look, fair play to Simon Easterby. Hasn't put a foot wrong yet, and it's two very good displays.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of positives to take from it, Paddy. I know there's all this interprovincial stuff about Prendergast and Crowley, but the long and short of it is we've two decent out halves now, and Sam being good is great. It'll drive on the other fella. And the two of them will push each other as well. And you Finlay Bealham really impressing in the number 3 shirt as well, in the absence of Tyke Furlong, which was something we were all worried about, only a couple of weeks or months ago, about a proper backup tight head. And he's really holding his own. He's playing really well in that position, and then there's all the other young lads coming through as well. And how bad?
It's just fantastic. It's they're lovely problems to have. Trying to difficult selection picks is always a good problem to have. And you're totally right, Stephen, about Finlay Bealham. He seems to be getting better with every match, and he's never let Ireland down. But like he certainly the last couple of matches he has completely stood up to play. And as you said, the great Tig, who widely regarded as one of the best in the world, is not being very sorely missed at the moment. Thanks totally to Finlay Bealham. Yeah, so yeah, onwards and upwards. I mean, the Welsh match you would think is there to be won, and that's a triple crown match. So we might be. You'd see all the keyboard warriors giving out about this, that, and the other, and the provinces, and etc., and the selections. But Irish rugby is in a really good place at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be taking Wales for granted the way some quarters were taking it granted on the media this week. And there was it was a really insulting thing off one of the other, off one of the national broadcasters about, would a 12-man Ireland beat the current Wales team? And that, I just think it's so disrespectful, Paddy, because it wasn't that long ago that we were happy to get wins over Scotland, and we were happy to get our wins over Wales. And
but the one you're referring to, it wasn't the 12-man one, but it is kind of funny, although very cutting as well. And Gareth Edwards has asked, was his great team of the 70s beat the current team? And he said, maybe just about. And the guy said to him, well, what do you mean just about? He said, well, there's 6 of us dead, and the rest of us are all in our 70s, But I think that's the one you're referring to, was it?
It was the off the ball thing. No, they were saying with the current Irish team. Yeah, with 12 of the current Irish team beat a full 15 Welsh team.
That's awful stuff. That's
disrespectful. Like, I don't know whether I'm saying it on here is because I totally don't agree with it. It's factual. It's out there. They put it out, and not everyone, but there's a lot of people saying that's a really bad take, lads. They'll Paddy, they'll use that now.
They will, of course, and we're all at pains to denigrate Stephen Jones in the Times of London. His writing is awful, and he's so anti-Irish. But we'll get the same reputation if we continue on. That's kind of bullshit.
Yeah. It's not reflective of the vast majority of rugby people and rugby supporters. I can confidently say that. Yeah. Paddy, back to matters on our own doorsteps. Last weekend, you were home to Seapoint. Tell us what happened.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Yeah, it's again not a great story. From a Tullow point of view, there's no point in saying a huge amount about the match itself, but the context probably of it is more important, and I'll just talk about that for a moment. I mean, we really now are at the business end of the season, and we had 3 matches left, and we needed to get something for the 3 of them, because, as we said last week, we had a tougher run in than the people we were competing against for the second bottom place, they being Carlow and Athy. So we needed probably to win the 3 matches, and we because both of those have a relatively easy match against Ashbourne, both Athy and Carlow have. So yeah, we needed to get at least a point or two, if not 4, from this match, and we failed to do that. In fact, Seapoint got a try at the last play of the game to put us out of bonus point territory and to get them a 4-try bonus point. So there was a double whammy in that last score. So that leaves us with a totally uphill battle. Really, at this stage, it doesn't look, it would take a miracle for us to overtake either Carlow or Athy. Carlow are 2 points ahead of Tullow, and Tullow have a tie tomorrow on this coming Saturday in another local derby, and it'll be a cracker of a match. We drew with them earlier in the season, and then our final match is against table toppers Bective. So we'd need to win those 2 matches, and either Carlow or Athy to lose, particularly Carlow, to lose a match, which I don't think is going to happen the way it's going. So look, it's not dead in the water yet, but it'll take a sequence of unlikely results for us to get out of that second bottom place. The match was Tullow started well and were in the lead when 3-0 up to an Adam Johnson penalty, but quite early in the match, Seapoint, they sat back and they attacked on the defensive. It was a very good ploy by them. It worked for them, and they got most of their tries on the counter attack. They got a second try before half-time. We, through the boot of Adam Johnson, we kept in touch, and there was a try from Joe Waters midway through the second half. And, we got within 3 points of them for about the last 10 minutes. And, there was a bit of hope at that stage. But the very last play of the game, then, they got a try, which put them 8 points ahead. They didn't convert, it put them 8 points ahead. So instead of overtaking them in the last 10 minutes, we actually got into a position where we didn't even get a losing bonus point, and they got a 4-try bonus point. So the team was Scott Callback, Daniel Culleton, Tom Cashin, Colin Gurry, Mark Cole, in the back row Joe Waters, Fiacre Byrne, Jack McDonald. Halfbacks Gareth Fitzgerald, Peter Burgess, Ryan O'Neill, Adam Johnson, Ryan Jordan and Jack Johnson in the 3/4, and fullback Adam Burgess. And the subs were Fiacre Kavanagh, Jack Fitzgerald, Philip Byrne, Jack Hanlon, and the one and only Sean O'Brien, who came on for about the last 15 minutes. So it wasn't enough to turn the tide, but it's great to see him back. That very same team is the team starting again against Athy on Saturday, and Sean is again named in the subs. And even if we don't manage to stay out of the second position from the bottom, it is good to have him back for the cup. He will give the thing a little bit of a lift. And what a lot of us older guys have been noticing over the last while, compared with the last few seasons when Tullow seemed to turn things around at Christmas, much as they tried this year, the spark didn't come. And it's largely by the same personnel by and large, but the spark just didn't come when it was needed, just to lift the season when we needed a couple of wins, and it didn't happen this year. So I wonder, will it happen for the cup? We got a decent enough draw in the cup. We have Skerries at home on the 10th of March, and we're lucky to get another home draw. We've been very lucky in that regard in the last few years. Skerries, oftentimes it's very hard to know what the senior clubs will send down as their second team. So the only recent experience of them was a very good one from our point of view. It was Skerries that we beat in our first Towns Cup final win in a tie in 2017, and we beat them pretty handsomely that day. So it's you never know really what you're going to get. And you look at the Naas, for example, the last few years, they have put out very strong seconds teams and had some notable wins in the Towns Cup. And maybe the further on it goes in the season, the weaker they get. They need their players to be stepping up to the first team. But anyway, that's where we are. And then the reason I got into all that, Stephen, was in the hope that Sean's return for the last match or two in the league and the cup might give us that little lift that we failed to ignite ever since Christmas, in the same way as we did in the last few seasons. So fair play to the man. His heart is certainly in it, and he has so many commitments now, business wise and Leinster coaching wise, and even brought up to the Ireland A team, which was a huge accolade for him and recognition that he's doing a damn good job in Leinster. So they wouldn't bring him up to the Ireland situation unless he was really highly regarded with the work he's doing in Leinster. So we're very proud of Sean in that regard. And I should say in that regard too, our two ladies are Dan O'Brien and Katie Corrigan have both been selected again for the extended women's panel. So again, a nice accolade for the club to get that recognition for those players. So there's no point in going into any more detail on the Seapoint match at this stage of the year. More important, I suppose, to look forward to the two matches that are left and the cup. So this Saturday, of course, Athy at another big local derby. As I said, we drew in the match in Tullow, in a cracker of a match. They have a fantastic set of backs. Our forwards were a bit better that day, and their backs were better than ours. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out tomorrow. There's a big day planned in Athy on Saturday. The pre-match luncheon, and they're going to try and regale tall tales of the past from Tullow and Athy battles in the past. There's a very good history between the clubs. When we started up, they were way ahead of us. They were winning Towns Cups all over the place, and we were starting. But we'd often some ding-dong battles, and there's great friendships developed between the two clubs, and they want us to tell some of those stories at the pre-match, and we'll do our best. At the moment, you know, with Athy after beating Carlow and Carlow beating us, you'd have to fancy Athy, particularly with home advantage. But whether this spark that we're looking for finally comes on Saturday, time will tell. But you know, I think we can be fairly assured of a big crowd in Athy. Their support is fantastic, and there'll be a fair crowd over from Tullow. And also, I think, you know, that particular rivalry has been quite good in the last couple of years, and met in the cup twice, I think, in the last few years. And so there'll be, both teams will be out for a bit of I won't say revenge, but certainly out for blood. So yeah, we're looking forward to a good match. I mean, we still, as I said, have that outside chance, but we'll be depending on results elsewhere as well. But there's a lot to play for, including pride of the parish. So going back to last weekend again, then our seconds were beaten 39-17 by Seapoint, but it was a competitive enough match, and we were happy to get a good run out for the seconds, who have been improving, I suppose, over the last few weeks. Our ladies in the IL put up a very good display. They were beaten by Suttonians again, but there was a much tighter margin in previous matches, 24-0. And I think anyone who's at that game said the ladies put up a very spirited performance, and, you know, played better than they had been playing. Our J1 ladies were conceded to MU Byrne, so they didn't have a game. So on the underage front, we had 5 out of 5 wins last week. So very pleased with that. And one of them was against James's team there, Kilkenny, and that was an important match. It was a Southeast League semi-final, so we turned over Kilkenny in that 45-24. That was the under-14 boys. So that's our first final to be in, so we're thrilled with that. The other 4 matches, I think, were mostly first rounds of Leinster Cups, Leinster Youth Cups. The under-13s beat Portlaoise 30-0. The under-14 girls lost out to Kilkenny 39-19 in a friendly. The under-15 boys got a walkover from Carlingford. The under-16 boys had a cracker on Friday night against Athy in the first round of the Leinster Cup and beat Athy 17-12 in a really high-quality match. The under-18 Rhinos beat Portlaoise 35-5. So, you know, for the 5 games that were played on the field pitch, we won 5 out of 5. So we'd be very pleased with that. And as a result, we have a full round of matches this coming weekend. There's 8 youth matches, and most of them in either round 1 or round 2 of the Leinster Cup. So it's a really hectic weekend all round. On Friday night, the under-15 boys are in the second round of the Leinster Cup against Navan, and that should be a cracker. The under-13 boys are away to Ross on Saturday. The under-14 boys are away to Mullingar also on Saturday. The under-16 boys are away to Arklow. The under-16 Rhinos are home to Longford. These are all on Saturday. And the under-18 boys are away to Balbriggan in the Leinster League. The under-18 boys A are home to Portlaoise in the Blackgates, also on Saturday. The under-18 Rhinos are home to Wexford at 3 p.m. on Saturday again. So the AIL ladies are away to Railway Union at 5 o'clock on Saturday. And the J1 women are away to Balbriggan. So apart from all those matches, all roads lead to Athy, and in what should be a great day out, and hopefully a great match. And who knows, miracles might happen down Tullow way. We certainly need a few at this point of the season. So that's it, Stephen, from all things Tullow. For me, so okay.
Busy one, yeah. Lovely stuff. Thanks for that, Paddy. Good stuff. Best of luck in those games at the weekend, and enjoyed a bit of crack up in the tie as well. It's always good when you get the local clubs together. And plenty, as you said, plenty of lies told on the day and the night. We have other fellas joining us. Go ahead.
When you say about the liars, they're reminded of Sean O'Brien Sr. We often talk about Sean O'Brien Jr. And he came on the match with us one time, at the time when Sean Jr. was the European Player of the Year. But Sr. put up such a performance of untruths that there was more talk about the European Liar of the Year than the European Player of the Year. But so next weekend could be a little bit of the same.
Absolutely. Yeah, no better man. Of course, should say I think it's Sean O'Brien's birthday today, isn't it? Valentine's Day.
Oh, you're so romantic, Stephen. Do you know that? You're the last of the romantics.
I remember, I don't know how I remember that, but I always remember it's on Valentine's Day, 14th February. But we were just talking there, James and Tom as well. Just Sean O'Brien got a run out there with Tullow at the weekend, and on the bench for the weekend, Paddy is as well. But he's a busy man. He's called into the Ireland A coaching and everything, and he was in the senior Ireland camp as well, helping out there with Johnny Sexton's brother as well, and that. So yeah, all good.
Okay, so I have to leave you guys. So thanks very much.
Good luck, Paddy. Take care. Mind yourself.
Hey,
Tom and James joined us there now, lads. How's it going?
Good, Steve.
That's James. We can't hear you.
Hello, James.
Hello, James. Okay, we were gonna.
You hear me now?
Oh, there we are now. Yeah, it's like the Eurovision.
That's it. Yeah. Myself and Tom colluded with each other. We said we'd let the Tullow lad go first and get him out of the way, so we didn't have to listen to him. You know.
It wasn't all good now at all. They had a tough old weekend, in fairness. So
it's an interesting league.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's that time of the league. We're getting to the business end, but the youths did well, and good few wins there as well. Lads, I might as well do it with you because I did it with Paddy. Six Nations at the weekend, and that I suppose we'll just touch on it briefly. Good win over Scotland.
You all laughed at me last week when I said Ireland would beat Scotland out of the park. You all laughed at me. You told me I was wrong.
I didn't say you were wrong. You were brave to say beat them out of the park.
Beat them out of the
park.
They're
windbags. They're absolute windbags, is what they are. Now, the only thing that is more wind in them now is the piper up on the stand. Now, to be honest with you, they lost two key players early in the game. Regardless, I still think we were going to do what we did.
We would have, and we left a lot of tries behind with being held up as well. And
what's more, England did us a really big favour because the French couldn't hold on to the ball when they were going out for their tries, you know. So, and it was a great try. England got to win the game.
Yeah, my biggest surprise of the weekend was how wobbly France were.
They were nervous.
Oh, they were very nervous, but like a lot of uncharacteristic stuff. It's good. It's good news for Ireland.
It is, yeah.
It was given out as well about off the ball, James.
They're that clown. What are they at? Like, come on.
I don't mind calling it out here on our own podcast because it was absolutely ridiculous what was said, and it's very, very, very disrespectful to a nation like Wales.
I put it up on Twitter this morning. I only saw it this morning, but like, Tom, you'd remember it better than I would know. You're a bit of a longer vintage than me. Like, not saying anything there, but like the 80s and 90s, we were the flogging boys of World Rugby. You know, like Wales are down, but they're going to come back. I don't know if you heard what they said, Tom, but they said our under 20s. Some of the pundits or the so-called pundits who on News Talk were saying that off the ball were saying that the Irish second or third string team would beat Wales out of the park, or maybe our under 20s, or even the Leinster seconds team would beat
Wales. 12. Yeah, if we played 12 against 15, we'd probably still beat them.
It was ridiculous shit. Like, sorry, my language.
That's not right.
You know, they're bandwagon journalists. They just they're looking for this reaction and that, like, you know. I think us lads here on the Knock On podcast bring far more substance to the rugby world every week.
Much more balanced and objective, and no bias at all here.
The feedback that I get from the hurlers in Kilkenny about the quality of this podcast is just off the charts, lads.
That's why we're on the big books, James.
It's Valentine's Day today, lads. I'm in good humour, like.
Absolutely. Has to be done. But you know what? We were just talking just before we get on to the local stuff. How bad that we have an argument between the Sam Prendergast and Jack Crowley thing. Like, it's great. It's a fabulous complaint to have. And as well as that, Finlay Beelan is absolutely flying it in that Tyke position. And we were all worried about what was going to happen without Tyke. And do you know what? Fair play to him. He had an epic game last week.
Yeah.
Well, there's only one thing I want to say. So these lads who are given man of the match should look outside, should look back into 1 to 5 because they constantly forget. I thought Porter was absolutely outstanding.
He was brilliant.
And man of the match seems to go to backs 90% of the time, or back rows. Very rarely goes to a front row player. And I think he was absolutely outstanding around the park, the scrummaging. By far, like, I know this, like, can't give it to Sam, brilliant, but to me, my man of the match was Porter at the weekend. The front row, actually, in general.
I think for me, it was Tyke Byrne.
I think our pack was awesome. But I just felt that for the work that Porter did as a front row forward was just outstanding, and to last that long on the pitch all the time, most the big teams, France and those, are taking him off early. Like he's playing phenomenal amount of minutes on the pitch, and he's fit, he's aggressive, his ball handling's good. He's just getting better. He's just maturing into a really, really fantastic front row player.
Let's put ourselves in the position something happens. I'm like, we're goosed in that position. Cian Healy's not an 80-minute man. Cian Healy's, he's off the charts what he's doing. Tyke Byrne for me was just immense.
He was savage.
Like way he got through them all. Well, Caelan Doris, lads, I was dubious of him 4 or 5 years ago. But when Caelan Doris gets the ball in his hand and going into contact, he's going to hit the soft spot. The ball is always going to come back. He's different level as well. Like,
it's the work rate. He was, he picked up where Jamie left off, like where he slipped left off. Just a phenomenal strength and work rate.
Absolutely super. Yeah. Absolutely super.
Gibson Park.
I think we have a good performance. I think we have a very well balanced team at the moment, and the Crowley Prendergast thing is like Prendergast needs to get game time in no matter what. When he proved himself. Like, I know Scotland probably weren't firing as strong as they could have missing the 2 players early on in the game, and then missing Tully Lupu as well in the centre. But I think Prendergast played very well, and I think it's good to have. It's great to have competition. I'd like to see Jack getting a run, just to keep things lively. Because I think the only thing I don't like is there's just the problem with sport is that we have a young lad coming through, and it's like a soccer player. He's the next Messi. He's the next this. He's the next that. An awful lot of hype about him. He's a very chill player, which is great, and he doesn't seem to be taking it to get into his head. But the problem being is when he doesn't perform, then he's built up into a platform. It's not fair. You got to say, right, he's a very, very talented player. He's very raw. He's got mountains of years ahead of him, please God, with if he avoids his injuries and that, he's like, he's another 10 years playing rugby, and probably will take him another 2 years to get into that position. Like, Crowley had a full tournament that they won. Like, all that experience and the win down below in like when Munster were playing well, and they got the one in South Africa, and all those games that they won in South Africa with, like, they're all tremendous in development of a player. Like, you'll never get experience like that. And sometimes, as I said, the problem, it's good for Irish rugby, but the problem for and I would have to develop with it in Leinster is that you have so many brilliant players around you. And the Irish team, you're never really tested, at that real high level that you're, really under pressure. We haven't had that.
Do we, as an age, like, maybe I'm just using, but like, do we have a little bit of an issue, not an issue, but a habit in Ireland of knocking some of our best talent? Like, you look, Joey Carberry went to Munster, his career kind of fell apart in the last few years. He's ripping it up in France now. Do we risk doing the same to Crowley? Like, do we risk writing Crowley off now just because he's no longer the starting out half for Ireland? He's bringing him on at full back to get him minutes and game time. Do we risk, through the rhetoric in the media, of potentially jackaling Crowley's progress?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He needs game time. They need to share the game time so much. You can't just like if you've one out half the whole time, which is fine, as I said, Jack was there last year, but there wasn't another out half really there last year. Competitive out half. That's going to win this the Six Nations or a Grand Slam. And I think we need to just be careful with them that like we're very quick to turn around and go, like last year, Jack Crowley was the greatest thing since sliced bread, blah, blah, blah. And he's going to be the set piece and probably going to make lines. Now it's sort of like we forgot about him and Munster were playing crap, so we're going, he's not playing well. And he missed a few kicks for Munster, so then he comes in the Irish scene. If he misses a kick, he's terrible, not playing well at all, and it's all about Prendergast. You need to quit that and get on with it. We've two fantastic out. We've two fantastic out. We probably have first time I'd say in a long time that we've position covers for everybody. The probably only place we don't have cover for is some half in development coming through. It's probably our weakest set of players, as much as like Conor Murray is brilliant for his experience and have him on the pitch, but like he won't be around for much longer. Casey is getting better. Is he the next one? Probably at the moment, but we need to start looking into developing scrum halves because I think it's probably
the other side is
one little weakness.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, I just said it's probably a weakness because if you look at France, like they have scrum halves in abundance, and it's probably something that we need to just give them a little bit more of a shot.
But Gibson Park is only 32. I put him down for a lot more than that. I actually had to check it up today.
Yeah,
you had him retired.
I had him retired. Like I thought, he's 34, 35. We need to change this up. We need to get someone in there, be it Doak or Doak is plateaued. Though I think he's gone in reverse.
He'll still be 30. He'll still be 34 when he's hitting the World Cup.
Yeah.
That's not old, lads.
I know that's not old, but it is when you're trying to keep that pace up that he can.
Yeah.
Like the way he plays the game, he's always tracking the ball. Like he's always shooting.
Like Conor Murray must be 45 now, is he?
Yeah.
On that note, anyway.
But that's it. Anyway, yeah. Who wants to go first, lads? Kilkenny or Carlow? Take your pick.
I don't mind.
Okay.
I'm going to be short and sweet.
I'm short and sweet as well, so we put in a good gap filler there, Stephen, for the last 14 minutes since Paddy got on his bus to wherever he's going. He must be going to bingo or something, is he? But
I'd say so. Yeah, it's Friday, Valentine's bingo or something like that.
That's it. Yeah,
a couple of extra pubs.
I don't mind going first there.
Fire ahead, Tom.
Short and sweet.
No worries.
That's
grand. I'll get up the old Carlow thing on the screens. Tom, your nearest and dearest, it's high.
Yeah. We start with the seconds first. Seconds had a really, really good win. Probably the best game I saw the seconds play in a long, long, long time. Firing on all cylinders. Backs played really well. Some outstanding performances from Reece Edgehill, Josh Cope. Was really good. Oisin Hart in the second row. Rory Dunbar in the wing. It just crossed the pipe. Liam Slater had one of his better games again at 10. So they had a really, really good win. We were delighted with that. They have no match this weekend coming up because Ashbourne won't field the seconds. It's a shame. Trying to get a few friendlies for them because the seconds cup is coming up and we need to work on getting a few games in because it's a bit unfair on the lads not getting extra game time. And we have a lot of competition for places still, even from the first. So hopefully we get a few games in. But look, they played really, really well. As I said, it's the first time they had a cohesive team, kind of far more cohesive as a team together. And their defense was super. Their attack really, really good. Played, as I said, probably the best I've seen them play in a long, long time, which is great to see. And if they can keep that momentum going, look, they'll have a good as chance as anyone of winning that seconds cup. I'd have a good belief in them. They're a good bunch of lads, And the first we move on to, we started off well. We were 10 points up. And then Athy just came back into it. And, to be honest, we didn't fire as well as we should have. We weren't as accurate as we should have been. We've played better at rugby. Our backs were probably the poorest they were in a while. The forwards, just weren't as sharp as normal. Or certain things like we're kicking into the backfield, we kicked into four lads, and when there was 4 in the backfield, we were kicking into them. They attacked. They were very. Look. I said it last week. We've great respect for them. They've a really good side, but they've a really sharp set of backs. Yeah, probably they're both the best back line in 1A. They're very, very good 13, absolutely electric play. Ollie Henry's son, he's really just came back from Trinity, really, really sharp. Cullen Carberry at 15, again sharp. And then, like, the biggest advantage they probably have for any coming forwards, that Craig Miller is probably, to me, I don't want to give him a big head if he does listen to this, but he's probably the best 10 in junior rugby in the country, I would say, at the moment. That I haven't seen anyone like him.
And he controls the game so well, like.
Yeah, but the team works well around him. He's just been there a long time. He's cute. He knows what line. He teaches good lines of running with the lads. They work well. We got caught a couple of times off wrong-footed in defence. I know Dave Mack had one error. It's amazing, as we said, this thing about being punished. They probably moved slightly shifted one way and just got caught on the outside. As I said, probably that's where we were. We didn't fire as well as we could have fired. If we fired as well as we could have fired, we would have won the game. We would have won that game. There was certain errors. We missed a few kicks as well, which would have brought us back in. We had 3 kicks missed, so we got two maul tries and 1 pushover try against the head. And then we were in, to sum it up, we thought the game was over at this stage because we said, right, that's it. Point gone, blah, blah, blah. We're not even going to get the 7, within 7. And we got a penalty started off in our own 22 and last play was called. And we managed to work it up the field and got another penalty, kicked it to the corner, went to the maul, that didn't work, ball came back, and it was a lovely super try. Young Brian Broderick put his foot down and called for the ball and spun it wide, and Sean Quinlan gave a super pass out and Ben scored a try, came in, cut inside and scored a try in the corner and gave us 2 points. We got a bonus point for being within 7, and we got 4 tries as well. So it was, look, and the other day, I think after the rugby that we've been playing coming into this, especially against Tullow, against Wicklow, we were probably disappointed we didn't get the win, but look, 2 points is 2 points, and it put us 2 points ahead of Tullow. So we're in 3rd position. We got to try and stay there now. Moving on to, as I say, we put that behind us. We're a bit disappointed, yet happy. It's a weird thing to come away with 2 points and be 2 points clear of where you are, but also very disappointed you didn't win the game. And to play away, if someone told us like earlier on, if you got 2 points coming out of a tie at this stage of the season, you'd be very, very happy. But look, we're probably a bit disappointed, but we'll move on. This week we have Ashbourne at home. I know Ashbourne at the bottom of the table, but no one should take Ashbourne for granted. I saw they scored 19 points against Wicklow, which is not an easy thing last weekend. So we have to go out and win this. It's not about bonus points. It's not about anything like this. The number one factor is to go out and beat Ashbourne. We need to get the 4 points first. And Ashbourne, I know, like, they're at the bottom of the league, but they don't want to. We know that they're going to come down and throw the kitchen sink because they don't want to. No team wants to come down and lose their last, because they're at the bottom. They've got to move on with Towns Cups and stuff and just play on, and and it's we have to be wary of them. We're playing a very strongest team as we have at the moment. We got 1 injury last night at training. we lost Sean Quinlan in the centre, which is a big loss. Couple of shuffle rounds, couple of from the team itself. There are just a couple of rotations and stuff from last weekend, just to kind of freshen things up a little bit. So it looked like we'll be putting Will Casey, our Australian visitors, going to go into probably 13. It's more like 13. Sean, so we'll be happy with that. Look, we have to give it a lash this weekend. You know, that's end of story. We've no choice but to go out and give it a lash and try and win. Next we have the women's. That's the end of the lads, as I say. All eyes lead to Oak Park on Saturday. So if anyone's around, come up and support us. We'd be delighted to have it. And I think they're showing the Munster game after from the bar as usual. We are then. Our women are playing Lansdowne. It's a big game for them. They have 2 games left and they're top of the table, so they need to win these games to get. If they win their next 2 games, they'll take the league. So it's a big game against Lansdowne coming down on Sunday. That's at home at 1:00. The lay's been going well. They had an unfortunate loss their first loss against Swords. As I said last, they were probably caught playing 10 aside, but it looks like Lansdowne are coming down with only 10 as well, so we'll just have to figure out the game. Youth-wise, to be honest, I was rushing today, so I don't have a whole lot of youth results coming up. I know our 18s are home to Byrne they're home at 12 o'clock on Saturday. Our 15s, I'm going to wish them the best of luck, or well, they won't be listening to this. They'll be gone. They're gone. They managed to get on the boat this morning. Our under 15s are gone to Wales. They're going to the Leinster game. I think they're leading Leinster out or something today. They're doing the Guard of Honour and
stuff.
They're being coached in the morning. Some of the coaches are coming out in the morning to are going out to give them a session in the morning, and they've matched team. So they're gone over for the weekend, which is great. I hope they're all well after being on that boat this morning, because it's not a big journey to be going on. I know there's a couple of the good few teams out. It's a cup weekend again this weekend, so I want to wish all our youths. It'll be up on our Facebook page and Twitter and on Instagram. The list of fixtures will be up shortly, and that's all else we got. I think that's really nearly it from us, to be honest. Yep. Except I will remind people again, we have music bingo on the 1st of March, Club Saturday night. It is great crack. It is. I know the bingo crowd will go mad by saying the music bingo crowd will go mad. Songo is a little bit like Bingo Loco, but more mixed, that it's more for everybody. With songs from all generations, and it's a bit of crack. So the tickets are now on sale in online, club, anywhere. Get them. That's it. I'm going short and sweet, as I said. I was rushing the bit, so I missed out on the youth. But sorry about that, lads. But I'll try and give enough one. That's it. Party together.
There's Tom.
But that won't be me dancing like that. I tell you.
No cowboy. Who's the cowboy in Carlow?
There's a lot. I tell you one thing. There's a lot of cowboys in Carlow.
Someone hanging out the roof there. Yeah. Up you by you.
I think I'm more of an Indian.
Good stuff. Let's look at that. Tom, thanks Mil. James, we'll get to you. I'll have a chat about Kilkenny. You were at home to Wexford last weekend.
We were, yeah. Disappointing outcome in the end of the 80. Slow start, very good middle, and shocking end. 14-0 down after a few minutes. Slow to start, just don't know what it was. I wasn't there. I was at a confirmation on Sunday, so everything I'm saying is on second-hand performance, nor have I seen a video of it, and nor do I want to. But it was a really slow start, and shouldn't have been, considering we're coming off the back of a really good win against a very strong De La Salle team the week before, where we were weakened against De La Salle and we took a win, and it was a win that was earned through a lot of spirit and a lot of hard work. And don't know what it was last Sunday. A lot of the returning guys were back, and you would have expected us to put up a better performance over the 80, but we didn't. And I look at it. I'd love to have the knowledge, or enough knowledge, or a crystal ball to look into it to see what went wrong. But 14-0 down after a few minutes, we got it back to 14-7 at half time. Jack Campion and Daniel Ring, a young 18 and 19-year-old halfback combination, combined to go over and get a try, and Jack converted it. And then we got it back to 14-all through a penalty try. And we looked to be kicking on at that stage by all accounts. Just after the penalty try, Wexford got a yellow card, and 14 against 15. We probably should have kicked on and done more, but we didn't. And we actually only had one scoring opportunity in that 10 minutes, which was a penalty that we missed. We were working very hard, and then in the last 10 minutes, we conceded 17 points to lose. Liam Phelan got a yellow card. Wexford got the upper hand. We were tired, probably. I don't know what it was. If the shoe was on the other foot, would we have converted that into 17 points? I'd like to think we could, but maybe we couldn't either. And ultimately, Wexford walked away with it with a bonus point win that puts them in a very, very strong position in the league now with 2 games to play. Everyone was raving about Wexford after the game, about kind of how young a team they have, but equally how good a set of backs. And a few minutes ago, Tom mentioned about the quality of the Wexford or the Athy back line. Wexford have a very, very good back line as well. And they are probably marshalled from afar by Maurice Logan. We all know what Maurice's coaching quality and coaching pedigree is. So I think it'd be great to see Wexford go on and win that league. They're kind of following the same journey like Athy did a few years ago, where they're going from 2A to 1B, and they certainly have validated their ambitions to push for 1A this season. And really great for Wexford. And I don't want to blow them up or do anything or blow smoke, but they're doing it off their own bat. They're doing it with their own young fellas that came through their own youth system. So look, best of luck to them. But from our side now, we have to go soul searching this week, because we don't have a must-win game against Dundalk, but it is a game that we need to win, because we owe it to ourselves, because we had Dundalk beaten the last day in Dundalk and we handed it to them. But look, I'll come to that in a couple of minutes. Our seconds went down very poorly as well on Sunday. The wheels are slightly coming off the wagon for our seconds. But look, they have Dundalk again this Sunday, so they'll just be hoping to get a performance in and start building for a seconds cup, right? Results from the weekend and youth results, looking down through it, was largely positive, to be honest with you. Our under 15 boys went down to Carlow. Their under 15 boys are having a tough time of it the last while. They competed in Division 2 of the Leinster League last year, but this year they've qualified for Division 1, which is progress, and fair play to the team, and fair play to the coaching unit for that progress. And it's a long-term objective, and we're in no doubt that they will get there. They will find easier times, and Lee and Simon are putting in good work with them. And look, we just hope we can get a good portion of those kids through to 18s and up to adults. The under 18 boys had a good win on the road to Kildare, beating them 24 points to 7. They're really on an upward spiral at the moment. Performances and results are going their way, and it's great to see results go a team's way at this stage of the season. It's very easy to win games early on in the year, but this is the business end of the season. You're in league run or cup run territories and coming to the end of your league, and they're in a Southeast Shield final now as well in the next couple of weeks. So again, just I speak about him a lot, but Gary Corcoran is doing, Barry Daly, Sean O'Boyle are doing tremendous work at our under 18s, and it's really paying dividend. And we look at our under 18s, we're probably targeting 6 or 7 of those kids to go through to adult rugby in the next 2 years. Mark Power, who has already been there, Daniel Ring, Rory O'Carroll, and a few others. We're in no doubt that we'll see them through in adult rugby. Under 14 girls had another win on the road. They're the form team in the club at the moment. They're winning all around them. They have a league semi-final coming up against Naas as well next weekend. They beat the Rhinos on a scoreline of 52 points to 19. Our under 18 girls got a win under their belt as well, beating the Ravens 41-12. Their season is starting to turn for the better now. They had a few tough results earlier on in the year, but they're doing very well. As I said, our J2s lost heavily 31-5 to Wexford, and our J1s lost 31-14 to Wexford. Looking ahead to what's on this weekend, on Saturday, under 16 girls are on the road up in Navan in the Cup at 12 noon. The under 13 boys are on the road as well, away to Mullingar in the Cup again at 12. The under 18 boys are home to Longford in the Leinster League, and they're, as I said, they're going to be looking to stay building on the good run of form that they're in at the moment. Under 14 girls are on the road away to Ashbourne in the Cup at 12:30. The under 16 boys have Gorey at home in the Cup. And our minis are travelling to Carlow on Saturday morning. I think the 7s, 8s, 9s are in Carlow's, and 10s, 11s, and 12s are in Kilkenny. Unfortunately, our under 7s won't be travelling. That all of our under 7s coaches, including myself, were unavailable just for other things that have been in the plan. And it's disappointing because this fixture has been in the calendar since the beginning of the season, but just the way plans fell for everybody, with people away with ponies and people away doing other things. But it's always a good day out against Carlow. And I think one thing that I've noticed and been involved in minis this year, everything is done in the spirit of the game in minis rugby. All of the coaches, there's great camaraderie amongst coaches, there's great camaraderie amongst players and parents. And if anyone wants to see what the spirit of sport is, I'd advise them to come out and look at minis rugby, because it epitomizes everything that it is. It's about the fun, it's about the child, and it's about developing the child and making sure they have fun. So it's great. On Sunday, our women's welcome Longford to Kilkenny for one of the final Leinster League games. That's a 1 p.m. kickoff. The J2s kick off against 1:30 against Dundalk. The J2s kick off at 1:30. The J1s kicks off at 3 p.m. And our under 14 boys are away to Mullingar. So all of our away journeys are all up there to the north end of the province this weekend. Long journeys for everybody. But look, we wish all of our teams all of the best. Few other little bits of news. I wasn't aware of it until kickoff last week, but we had a Kilkenny man playing under 20s for Scotland last Saturday night. Chap from the club who played with the club until up to under 15s, Oliver Duncan. He was a blindside wing forward, came on for Scotland the weekend and had a great game. A big, strong, strapping lad. Has a lot of family left around Kilkenny. And funnily enough, he hurled for O'Loughlin's as well, and a few of the O'Loughlin's guys in the town actually went over to the game as well, so they had it up on their Facebook page there on Monday morning. Look, it was nice to see just a little link that we might be producing Ireland players, but we're producing Scottish players as well. And Ollie is in I don't know the chap, but he is in the Glasgow Academy too, playing under 20s, and I think he might have a URC appearance or a subs appearance under his belt. Player profile this week is Aidan Murphy from our under 13 boys. People might be seeing it on Facebook and on our socials at the moment that we're just kind of running a little bit of a 100 club now. We're trying to establish all of the players that played 100 games, first class games for the club. This week we announced Liam Caddy, import into the club, but left a huge impact. Liam played 107 first class games, 24 in Division 1B, 60 in 1A, 17 Towns Cup, and 6 Leinster Junior games. The other one that was announced this week, which is the one that surprised everybody, that he's well over the 100, was Jake MacDonald. Jake is a young guy, he's only 26, but he's playing first 15 since 2015.
Wow.
Which took me by surprise. I thought it was 2017, but Jake has 115 games under his belt, which is 19 in Division 1B, 72 in 1A, 16 in the Towns Cup, and 8 Leinster Junior. Because we're running a bit of a competition as to who could guess all 8 players, and we know who the 8 are, but nobody got Jake. Everybody couldn't believe that he is for a young guy that he is that level, or that number of games. Looking forward to Sunday. Look at I think I won't say our Leinster League race is run. We have a lot to play for to kind of get up the table as much as we can. We're in 5th on 29 points. Dundalk, our visitors on Sunday, are in 6th on 22 points. So there's daylight between us and them. We'll be looking to get a win just to try and optimize our final league finish. But at the beginning of the year, I guess we sat down as a committee and we all kind of unofficially kind of said, where do you think we'll finish? And I think the unanimous outcome of it was that we were a we would be a mid-table team this year, and that's ultimately where we're going to be. But Dundalk have a lot to play for, right, coming down on Sunday, which I think is going to make the game hugely entertaining, and it's probably a huge motivator for them that they are only 2 points clear of DLSP in 7th place. So they'll be looking to get a win against us to take themselves out of trouble and make sure DLSP and Kildare are the 2 teams in relegation. So kind of all of the, I would say all of the pressure is on Dundalk coming down to us. But in saying that as well, as I said earlier on, we handed them a win the last day we played them up there. We were home and hose, game over with 20 minutes to go. And not only did we drop down through the gears, we actually put our foot firmly on the clutch and went into reverse, and we handed them the win. So we need to, we don't owe them one this weekend. We owe ourselves one this weekend to actually take the win against them. So I think the lads need to look inwards this weekend and just walk away or walk into that game motivated and take that win, because they're good enough to beat Dundalk, and they should have done it already this season. In terms of the seconds, our seconds and their seconds, they're tracking much the same in the league on the same form. I did say earlier on, probably harshly, that the wheels are coming off the wagon on our seconds. They are in results, they're not in spirit, and they're not in numbers. There's huge numbers still coming out every week and putting it in, but they just can't seem to get a win over their belt. And playing against Dundalk this weekend, they probably should. Home as well. Dundalk have nothing to play for. We have pride to play for. So let's try and get a win over our belt. And everybody, one thing I've noticed this year, which I'm kind of disappointed, and I'm guilty of it myself, is the seconds aren't getting enough of support. People are coming out for the first 15 game, but they're not going over supporting the seconds. So maybe just a little bit more support and a little bit more of unity around the club to support our seconds and firsts is needed. So it'll be kind of a rallying call out to all of our members. Just get out to the club maybe an hour earlier. It's not much to ask for. Just go over to the seconds pitch and a few shouts or balls in from the sideline. Our women's team welcomed Longford. They beat Longford earlier on in the season, 24 points to 10 in Longford. So they're coming down on Sunday. Our girls are in 4th place on 22 points. Longford are further down the league. I think they're in 7th or 8th, 7th place, second last on 14 points. So look at all the indicators in that would lead towards a Kilkenny women's win. And we wish them the best, and they will be looking to take that win and kind of just stay pushing away there mid-table, 4th position, and get a very strong cup run in. And that is it from Foogstown.
Lovely. Have a good weekend, gentlemen. We'll wrap it up there. Best of luck in all the games and all that. And just saying, James, Carlow can lay a bit of claim to Sam Prendergast. His mammy is a good Carlow woman.
That's it, yeah. But he never pulled on the Carlow jersey. Ollie Duncan had the Kilkenny jersey on, right?
No, he's a Songcroft chap. He played some GA with Songcroft up in there.
Someone was saying to me to ask the question: does Ollie Duncan speak with a flat Kilkenny City accent, or does he has he adopted a Caledonian twang?
Toss over the ball there.
Right. Now you have that Kilkenny accent down to the
team. If he doesn't succeed in rugby over there, he can play a shinty.
That's it, yeah. We'll take him back.
you take him back, yeah.
I'm going to have to head off there. Have a good one. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Best of luck, Tom.
James Blanchfield and Paddy Browne. Take care, lads.
Cheers.
Thanks for that.